I really was not born as a digital expert or in a digital environment. And my parents are not digital at all. And every time when I talk to them, it's a big challenge to explain what I'm actually working. Sorry, Mom and Dad. After my studies in politics, history and law, I worked for members of the German and the European parliaments. At that time, I learned two important lessons. First, to create my own network with experts in different topics. And second, to learn from good and competent people who gave me so much support for my career and for my projects. This brings me to my first piece of advice for you. Be open for a mentor. This is an all-gender advice, so hello to the male audience here. But especially for the female audience, don't wait for a mentor to come riding to you on a white horse in the shimmering daylight. And don't wait for him to ask you, do you want to be my mentee? Be open. Look around you and ask the people who impress you for advice or for being your mentor. It is always easier to grow together instead of fighting on your own. Let me come back to my personal life to show you what I mean. After working for several politicians and after my own candidacy for the Parliament of Baden-Württemberg, I decided to work in the real world. I started working at a university, then moved on to a big car company, and then on to a notable organization representing the interests of e-commerce. Now I'm a founder of Startup Affairs. I had different mentors during my time at the politics and the companies. Sometimes they were mentors in the same company, sometimes from another. I learned to share my challenges, which I had in job, and get great advice from people who have had the same situation before. And I learned to ask for help, which gave me so much self-confidence. Before the position at the notable organization, I didn't get too much in touch with e-commerce because I was an offline shopper, and a really good one too. But through my job, I get an impression for the world of e-commerce and digitalization. And I realized that there's such a strong female leadership, no matter whether they are founders or managers in big companies. However, there was one thing that I immediately recognized as a missing: a network for digital female leaders in order to gain public visibility. That is why I decided to establish Women in Digital. And that is why I wanted to offer a platform connecting women in the digital business to grow together instead of fighting for ourselves. Our team of Women in Digital represents the diversity we wish us for the whole network. In the managing board, we are a communications expert, that's me, and the designer, that's my colleague Constance. And in the whole network, we are so many different women in different industries. This brings me to my second piece of advice for you. Choose different people. What I mean is this: choose people for your network or corporation who are at first sight far away from your own business. Because these are the people to lead you to new insights, to new views of life and business, and challenge your own mindset every day. Often people, particularly journalists, ask me, why do we need a network for digital female leaders? And I always answer, because we need more public discourse about the different stories of digital female leaders. We are used to debate what is going wrong and engage in a gender-based debate about women in leadership. But we have to talk more about the success stories, and we have to look for mentors and role models. And the best industry for this is the digital industry. Which leads me to my third piece of advice for you. use the chances of digitalization. The digital industry is an industry of chances. All the companies today have the same job: to master the challenge of digitalization. No matter whether you are a man or a woman, all that counts is leadership, good ideas, a hands-on mentality, and of course, having good skills. Just recently, a study was published by Accenture, which is titled Getting to Equal. And the study showed interesting results. A high digital fluency, that means advanced digital skills, helps women to improve their prospects on career. So, we should educate the women to get these skills starting in the school. The big challenge for the next year is to gain more visibility for digital female leaders. Right now, you might argue there are plenty of female leaders we talk about, like Sheryl Sandberg or Marissa Mayer. But these are only the very few on top of all the women out there. We need more of them role models, and especially we need more women going out and speaking about their experiences. A question that is always in my mind when I read programs of conferences: why is it still possible to have discussions without women on the panels? Hello, this is the year 2016. When the Canadian Prime Minister was asked about the reasons behind the selection of a gender-balanced cabinet, he responded with, because it's 2015. That should be the answer for all of us, for women on panels. My fourth piece of advice for you is, only mixed panels are real panels. I'm in contact with organizers of panels and noticed that we indeed have a slow but steady growing sensibility for getting more female leaders on stage. But organizers sometimes don't exercise the necessary patience, or they simply don't have the time to look for female leaders, especially for the unknown ones. They fall back to the leaders they know or to their own network. I noticed also another thing: women want to be perfect. They want to know already years before a panel what exactly is going to happen, who is going to be part, and so on. And they only agree to be part of it if they can contribute to the topic of the panel at least 150%. I think at this point we as women need to say goodbye to our inner Mrs. Perfect. We have to be more spontaneous and flexible in taking our chances of being part in panels, even we think we might not be the absolute perfect expert for it. My last piece of advice for you is, do not focus on gender. The digital industry is offering a variety of themes, areas, and fields, and women shape this industry very strong. And really not only we are organizing fashion, beauty, or home living online shops. They are developing apps, they are project leaders of digitalization in big companies, and they are founders of fintech startups. And they don't want to be recognized as women only. They want to be recognized as a valuable part of the economy, of the digital industry, as entrepreneurs and as leaders. Sure, we have much to do when we embrace the goal of a fairly balanced female and male leaders in the economy. But we cannot change the situation by merely regretting the status quo. Instead of it, we have to work by giving examples to motivate other women, giving them the power and providing a good network for cooperation. We have to start the work already in schools by providing good mentoring programs and by making digital jobs tangible and appealing. And mainly we have to remove the barriers in our minds. You don't have to be a coding expert in order to get a digital job. And it's also not true that someone has to be an all-rounder in everything. You must be the best coach and the best assessment center for yourselves. So, our to-do list is full. Let us embrace the chances of digitalization to campaign empowerment of women. My wish is that someday picture galleries of digital male leaders will be liked as much as pretty digital female faces. Why? Because it's 2060. Thank you.